So today I need to open up this hive and let out a queen that I had to get, because apparently somehow the original queen I got with this package got lost or killed or something, because I found last Wednesday when I checked this hive, and I hadn't checked it in quite a while, but last Wednesday I checked this hive and found that all of the brood frames that were in the bottom box no longer had brood in them. Looked like all the brood had hatched out, and all the workers had backfilled everything with pollen and nectar, and there was no evidence of any eggs or new fresh larvae. There was some evidence of more capped brood, but very, very little. And of the 8 frames that are in this box, almost all of them were nectar and pollen. So what I had done, and the other thing is, this part of the reason I checked the box actually it was I believe Monday when I checked it. Part of the reason I checked it was because after putting this box on a couple weeks prior, there were some bees up in this box, but most of them were down and they weren't building anything on the frames for a couple of weeks, and I had figured they should have been started building because they were mostly full in the bottom box. But now they're in. Take this box off and set it aside. Check and make sure I don't see the queen on the bottom of this box right now, and I don't. Set that aside here on this other box. So because of the lack of queen and brood, I purchased a new queen. I'd also seen quite a few look like emergency queen cells on the little bit of brood that was left. When I put the new queen in here, I went ahead and crushed all those. But now I'm going to go ahead and go through and see if I can let the queen out, because she's been in here since Wednesday. When I first put it in, the girls in here, the workers, were swarming the cage she was in, and very unhappy about her being there. As soon as I set it down on top of here, they swarmed under and balled it up and were trying to chew on the cage and everything. But now they should be accepting of her, and I can let her out of the cage. So this frame has got a little bit of building on the bottom, but otherwise pretty much empty. Set that aside here. This frame as well. So some of the frames that had been in here that they had backfilled with honey and no brood on them, I took them out and put them in the top box. Hopefully that'll force them to start going up into the upper box. I guess sometimes they don't always go up there if they've got everything in the lower box. Pretty calm and gentle right now. I do have a smoker lit, but I'm not using it if I don't have to. And somewhere the queen cage fell down. Alright, so this one's got a bunch of bees on it, but they're not really building it out yet. I got a little bit built on the bottom. I think I'll leave that alone. And this frame, this is a frame that I put in here with just a starter strip and no foundation. And previously they had built it out pretty good. Oh, you gotta be careful. Alright, so that one's moving around on me. We'll leave it alone here. And there is a lot of empty cells in here. And it looks like there's also on this side, not that you can see it very well with the bees on it. See if I can get them to move away here. There's a bunch of drone brood cells, and it looks like several of them have emerged out and are empty, being cleaned out. And then there's worker brood over here. This is all filled in with honey, and it looks like a lot of the rest of it is open and empty. Move that off to the side here. And like I said, the queen cage, I had it wedged up in between this frame and this frame at the top, and it looks like it had fallen down, and I see it down at the bottom here. So set this one here, carefully get this cage picked up. Come on. There you go. Yeah, girls. Okay. Ah, darn it. That's not a good thing. I have to smoke them a little bit after all. Alright, now we got some smoke. So a little bit of smoke on them, that'll push them down, give them something to think about. They don't really like the smoke at all, but that'll make them... Unfortunately, it kind of makes them think that their hive is on fire and that they need to go eat all the honey and whatnot, but that'll give them something to think about. Move this over here. Building out that one. Looks like they've got that opened up now. But they're still hanging around. Let's set that up here for a little bit. So like I said, when I first put that in there, they were very much interested in it and volleying it up. Now there's much fewer on it, and they don't seem to be as concerned about it, as aggressive about it. Those guys to come off. There we go. And a wood tick. Nice. Got a white dot on it. We'll fix that. There. Takes care of that wood tick. Let's see, they ate all the sugar candy out of the way. See if I can get them to move off of here and make sure, see if the queen is still in here. Come on, ladies. Move out of the way. Okay, looks like the queen is still in the cage. Alright. Not liking the way you're around my head. So yesterday I was in here checking, and like I said, when I first put this in here on Wednesday, they balled it up and they were very angry about it. But like I said, there are not nearly as many on here now as were on it before. This thing was solid bees, like 2 layers deep. Now it's just got a few bees on it comparatively. And trying to get it all the way opened up here to let her out. But I do see her in there. This one's a marked queen, where the previous queen was unmarked. See him coming out. Down over here on here. I see quite a few bees in there, but I don't know that I see the blue dot of the queen. Trying to get this opened up the rest of the way. Yeah, looks like she came out, so she's in here somewhere. I'm assuming she went down into the frame. I don't know if I can get these guys off me. Come on. Ah, I see what you guys are doing. You're after the sugar that's still in there. So we'll set you over here at the entrance. I'll let you guys figure that out later. And check some of these other frames here real quick. You got girls. Do this without getting my thumb on a bee. This one's nice and heavy. Mostly filled. Whether or not you can see that in there, mostly filled with honey and pollen. And it looks like a couple of drone brood or something, those bigger bulbous caps. And mostly honey and pollen on this side as well. Put that back in here. Down there, careful not to squish any bees on the sides. Get it out of the way. Let's see over there. There you go. This way. Check this one. Yeah. I don't want to be opening this too much longer here because the other hives might get interested. This one's mostly, looks like there's a couple of cells that might be drone or might be brood capped over, but mostly. All right, So I did find the queen. She had apparently fallen down somehow. Fallen down and was down below underneath. Fallen down down underneath that leg. And found her down there, coaxed her back out, put her back up in this top box on a couple of frames up here. One of the frames. Watched her go down and did identify her. She's hanging out on one frame here. It's got some open cells. Looked like she was checking them out. Hopefully she'll start laying there. These guys here, the queen cage, they're still checking out the sugar, but they're also very very interested in this cage still for some reason. She's obviously not in it anymore. I did confirm she's on the frames. Thinking that she's probably here. They're just interested in the smell still. But we'll leave that here right now until they get tired of looking at it, and I'll go back in for the night. Probably come out tomorrow and put that away. And cleaning up some of the other stuff around here. Apparently my smoke got a little bit hot, and I may have injured a couple of bees. I'll put you up here and see how you do. Which is not a good thing to have your smoke too hot. Don't need to cook the bees while you're trying to calm them out of your way. But they seem to be all okay up here right now. The queen was, like I said, moving around on the frames, probably starting to check them out. She'll hopefully start finding cells to her approval and start laying. I'll probably be back here to check this hive out again next weekend. So the other 3 boxes here, I've already on this one put another stack on it because that's my nucleus hive. I got a 5-frame nuke that had brood and food, put that in there. They've been doing pretty good, and they'd actually started filling out the rest of the frames, so I put another box on top and moved one of the I think one of the frames of honey that they had up into that box. And they've been pretty busy hanging out on the top and filling in everything. Got bees all over on these frames. I've been leaving this one alone. I don't want to mess with them, disturb them too much. Of course, with the plastic covers, makes it nice to look in. These 2 packages I hived at the beginning of May. Hived these on actually the on April 30th, right before May. Unfortunately, I think a lot of this package actually moved over to that hive when I was busy hiving these 2. I think I am going to take a quick look at this one, just to make sure. When I was looking at this a while ago, I hadn't seen the queen, but I did see evidence of eggs and brood. So the evidence of eggs proves that she was here at least 3 days ago. Take this frame out, set it aside. Not really anything on it, just a couple of workers checking it out. One on the back side. So yeah, these guys still have plenty of room because they're only on really these frames. These 2 are empty. That one was pretty much empty. Looks like this outside one is also empty. And they really haven't built out the back side of this one. Nothing really on that side. They do have a little bit of build out here, and looks like mostly sugar water and some pollen. And no evidence that the queen's been on this one at all. Nope. Don't want to breathe on them too much. Might irritate them. Don't need to get stung again. Haven't been stung today yet, but have been stung before, and not the most pleasant experience. These 2 are bridged together. There we go. So, got a little bit of build out on this side. And there is some larvae down in the bottom. And what do we got on this side? We got some bigger larvae growing in there. And some eggs down on the bottom cells there, and eggs all over there. And it got eggs all over. I don't want to bounce them too much here. We got a couple of drones wandering around on this frame too. Where'd they go? And I busted this open, so they're cleaning it up, where they had bridged between this frame and the other frame. Yeah. Here's a drone. Big old drone right there. You don't see the queen on here right now. Put this back in here carefully. Let's see, is she on the back side maybe? No, that looks like a bunch of drones. And hopefully the queen will be on here somewhere. Find her in here. Yep, there's a bunch of eggs down in there. There she is. And there we got the queen hanging out over here. And evidence that there's all eggs down in these cells. And got a little bit, maybe, looks like this is pretty much all eggs. I don't really see any hatched larvae yet. But I do have sugar water and pollen all in here as well. And where's my queen? Where'd she go? Make sure I still see her on here. Don't want her to fall off like the other one did. Alright. Your Highness, where did you go? There you are. Still right up on top there. Big old butt. And we'll put you back down in here. Push that back over. Space those out a little bit. Before I go and close this up, rush you guys out of here. Come on, I got out of the way. Break this. Break that comb out of the way. Knock down the bridge comb a little bit. And we'll put you back down in here. And gently push you back closed. All right, come on. Out of the way, out of the way, out of the way. that's fine. Close this back up. Get you guys to go down a little bit. There you go. Get you out of the way. Close this up a little bit. There we go. That's kind of a weird way of sitting. That one's a little bit angled. Alright, close that up. Push these back over. Come on, girls, get out of the way. You go away. Don't need no ants. Close you guys back up. Down you go. There you go. And put a lid on it. Alright. Take a quick look at this one. This one got a whole bunch of bees on the back of the board here, and another ant. Now this one's pretty darn full, and I have a sneaking suspicion I'm going to need to put another box on this real soon, which means I better hurry up and get my box done and ready. I got one for it, but need to finish it. Kind of split there a little bit. Alright, this frame's mostly empty. Set that both here. Oops. I don't need to bounce the bees too much. That's honey, not sugar. Alright, so this one we're building, starting to draw out on that side and drawing out on this side. Looks like this is all sugar water. So I'll get my little thingy holder. Set that on the edge of the box here. And I'll set this frame out here. This one's the same thing, mostly sugar water. I don't think there's too much nectar. They've been really after the sugar that's on the board there. And this one is pretty much the same thing, got some pollen. Don't expect to see the queen here, but gotta look anyway, just in case. See some bees down on the bottom. Back here. Yeah, you. Don't miss. Miss. Alright, this one's got eggs and larvae, and drones and workers. Got an arc of honey across, or sugar water across the top. More eggs and larvae. Capped food store in the top. Under that's a bunch of pollen in here. And all the rest of this is larvae. Looks like there's a couple that is capped over, but most of it's uncapped so far. Just larvae, young, very young larvae. And some eggs. Chew back down in there carefully. This one's got some older larvae. A lot of eggs. Plenty of young larvae too. Recently hatched. See her there. Hopefully she's on the next one. I didn't miss her. This one's nice and heavy too. More eggs and brood. Wind blowing my equipment around. That's good. Alright, didn't see her there either. Maybe she's on this one. I'm seeing a couple eggs down in the bottom there, but mostly empty. Didn't see her there. I don't think I expect to see her here, because this is all food store. This frame should be pretty much empty. A little bit of food in the front here. Empty on the back. Pretty empty though. Let me check this real quick. No, that's all honey store there. Check and make sure I don't see her down in the bottom somewhere. Don't though. Of course, now it's starting to get dark, so I may have to, or at least the sun's starting to go behind the trees. I may just close this up and be content with the fact that, yeah, I didn't see her, but there is fresh eggs in here, so she's been here at least 3 days ago. Where'd you guys hide the queen? Or am I just blind? Now, not really sure where she is. I'm assuming she's in here somewhere. Because I do see interesting little red mite. Or if that was Varroa. Anyway, I do see eggs and plenty of brood. So she has been in here as of at least 3 days ago. She's probably in there somewhere, I just didn't see her. Didn't recognize her. Neither you. You got pollen, so you should go in there. Yeah, there you go. So, these guys should be fine, but like I said, pretty full. I've got this built out fairly well on most of these frames. This frame is pretty empty. This frame is empty. This frame's at least half built. So, need to get another box on top of these guys, get them another set of frames. Go ahead and close this up. Now I'll need to get some more sugar water for them. Probably just throw that out. These guys, are you guys off of this yet? No? we'll put this cage away for later. Pick up everything. But anyway, it'll look like they're doing just fine. I'll probably come back in another couple of weeks and check that hive again, make sure that queen's doing well. Looks like they've accepted her. I'm going to pick her up and get her back in the hive because she fell out, but it almost tastes like honey. But it should mostly be sugar water. Anyway, we'll go mark that down that this inspection's complete. Got that queen, got that hive requeened. Should be good. Identified the queen on that one, left that one alone, although I identified the queen on that one before. Missed the queen here, but there's obviously stuff in there, and that one needs a new box because it's pretty full. Now we'll let this smoker, set this smoker aside over here and let it burn itself out. Call it enough for tonight.